99 large wildfires are burning out of control across the United States. We are still at National Preparedness Level 5, the absolute maximum. Over 5.25 million acres have already burned, and it is only August 4th. That is 138% of the 10-year average, and fire season runs through October. The situation is so severe that Australia and New Zealand have sent firefighters to help us. Here's everything you need to know about today's fire weather crisis. Let's start with the big picture before we zoom in on specific areas and cities. As of 7:30 this morning Mountain Time, 448 personnel are deployed. That includes 583 ground crews, over 15 engines, and 168 helicopters. LEX Type 1 incident management teams are committed the highest level of national wildfire management, and yet the fire is still winning in many places. Here's why the weather is simply relentless. Minimum relative humidity values of just 3 to 15% across California and the inland Northwest. 3% humidity, think about that. That is critically dangerous for wildfire spread and firefighter safety. Temperatures at or above 100 degrees Fahrenheit are locked in across the interior West today. And a strengthening thermal trough, that's a ribbon of extreme heat near the surface, is the culprit, creating a pressure gradient that's pumping hot, dry, unstable air into fire country right now. Now let's move to the Northwest because this is where the situation is most critical. Today, the Northwest Geographic Area Coordination Center is at Preparedness Level 5 maximum resource commitment. 50 of the nation's 99 large fires are burning right here in the Pacific Northwest. That means half of America's wildfire problem right now is concentrated in Washington and Oregon. And folks, if you're in the Spokane, Washington metro area, please pay close attention. Right now, the city of Spokane is surrounded, and I do not use that word lightly, by 3 simultaneous wildfires. The Old Trails fire is burning just 3 miles to the west of downtown Spokane right now. The Autumn Lane fire is 7 miles to the northwest with 2,252 new acres overnight. And the Fairview fire is burning 2 miles to the northeast, timber and grass, with active evacuations in effect. All 3 fires have mandatory evacuations, area closures, and road and trail closures in effect this morning. If you have evacuation orders, please go, do not wait, do not risk your life for property. The California Team 7 Incident Management Team is handling Old Trails while also managing Autumn Lane and Fairview. That is 3 fires. One team a reflection of just how stretched resources are right now. And there is a major criminal development out of Spokane that broke last night, and it is significant. Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles announced the arrest of Aaron F. Farinacci, 37 years old. Farinacci is charged with first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire, the largest of the 3, according to the sheriff. A citizen called police after seeing Farinacci kneeling near the grass at the ignition site. When officers found Farinacci, he was carrying waterproof matches and a butane lighter. Investigators confirmed evidence at the ignition point was consistent with being started by a match or lighter, according to the sheriff. Farinacci is a convicted felon, previously convicted of manslaughter in Arizona, and is now held on $1 million bond. Investigators have not connected Farinacci to the Autumn Lane or Fairview fires. Those causes remain under investigation. Now moving slightly north of Spokane, the Sinlahekin fire in Okanogan County is exploding in size. It gained 2,940 acres in a single 24-hour period. Overnight, it now stands at 102,934 acres, and it is only 5% contained. Active fire behavior includes wind-driven runs, torching, and spotting, with communication infrastructure threatened, evacuations and area road and trail closures in effect for the Sinlahekin fire as well. And listen, the fire weather driving Sinlahekin's growth is not going away in the next 24 hours. Temperatures near or slightly above normal for the inland Northwest, with hot, dry, unstable conditions expanding. Now let's talk about what I consider one of the most dangerous individual fires burning right now anywhere. The Little Giant Fire on the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest, 30 miles northwest of Leavenworth, Washington, 346 acres. 0% contained, and here is the fire behavior report. Extreme fire behavior, uphill runs, crowning, and long-range spotting. That combination is extremely dangerous. Crowning means the fire is burning through the tops of trees and moving faster than crews can track. Long-range spotting means embers are landing ahead of the main fire, starting new ignitions far away. California Team 2 is assigned here, and numerous structures are threatened with area road and trail closures active. Estimated cost to date on the Little Giant Fire, $14.6 million, and climbing fast. Moving south into Oregon now, and the scale of fires here is almost hard to comprehend. The Big Grass Fire in the Vail district of the BLM has burned 342,000 acres. That is nearly half the size of Rhode Island, folks. It gained 5,573 acres yesterday and remains at just 25% contained, with active fire behavior including short crown runs, wind-driven runs, and single tree torching right now this morning. The Rogue Creek Complex, southwest of Fossil, Oregon 323, 951 acres at 60% contained. This is the most expensive wildfire in the northwest area right now, with $49.1 million in suppression costs and 25 structures already lost. 1739 personnel are assigned to the Rogue Creek Complex this morning alone. And then there's the Coleman Creek Fire in the Burns District 274, thousands of acres, with active fire behavior including wind-driven runs, short-range spotting, and energy infrastructure seriously threatened today. The Kaiser Canyon Fire near Nespelem, Washington, 136,000 acres at 44% contained. 44 structures have already been destroyed. $31.4 million spent and still climbing. Now let's shift focus to the southwest Oregon Cascades, where the fire weather setup is especially worrying. The National Weather Service Predictive Services is flagging a high-risk corridor. A strengthening thermal trough is creating dangerous fire conditions from southwest Oregon north to the Columbia River Gorge, a large swath of terrain that includes the Umpqua, Rogue River, and Willamette National Forests. If you live anywhere along that Interstate 5 corridor through southern Oregon, remain extremely vigilant today. We already have the Grasshopper Fire burning on the Mount Hood National Forest 31,000 acres active fire behavior with backing, flanking, and uphill runs with structures and critical infrastructure threatened. The E. Evans Creek Road Fire near Rogue River, 14 miles northeast, has 15,000 acres, and the I-5 at mile marker 57 fire, yes, a wildfire right next to Interstate 5 near Grants Pass. If you're driving I-5 through the Grants Pass area today, please exercise extreme caution and check road conditions. Now let's move east to the Great Basin region, which is also at Preparedness Level 4 this morning. The Great Basin is seeing 12 large uncontrolled fires, with 3 critical incident management teams committed. And folks, the fire behavior descriptions coming out of Utah and Nevada right now are alarming. 3 separate fires in the Great Basin are experiencing what fire managers call extreme fire behavior this morning. The Widemouth 2 fire on the Fish Lake National Forest in Utah, 68,000 acres, 0% contained extreme fire behavior including short-range spotting, wind-driven runs, and torching with numerous structures threatened. Mandatory evacuations are in effect near Kanash, Utah, about 2 miles from the fire's current position. The Ward Fire on the Humboldt-Toya Bay National Forest in Nevada, 8,000 acres, 0% contained extreme fire behavior with crowning that full canopy fire I mentioned earlier, plus wind-driven runs. 10 miles south of Ely, Nevada along US 93, critical infrastructure is threatened this morning. The Black Canyon Fire on the Manti La Salle National Forest in Utah, 800 acres, but growing extreme fire behavior with short crown runs and uphill runs near Price, Utah, evacuations in effect, and energy infrastructure is seriously threatened, including power lines serving communities across central Utah today. And the Tartar Fire northwest of Weiser, Idaho, 107,000 acres at just 13% contained command is transitioning between management teams today as they battle active uphill and wind-driven runs. The fire weather driving all of this in the Great Basin is not improving anytime soon. Here's why: lingering breeziness combined with a hot, dry, and unstable air mass. That's a volatile combination. Minimum relative humidity values of 3 to 15% are forecast for the Great Basin through today, and temperatures will remain well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the central and southern Great Basin. The Antelope Creek Fire in the Elko District of Nevada jumped 40,680 acres overnight with new energy, so even fires that appear to be winding down are finding new life in these conditions today. Moving to the northern Rockies, now Preparedness Level 4 with 13 large uncontrolled fires burning. Montana and Idaho are both seeing active wildfire conditions this morning, with 2 management teams fully committed. The Skillet Fire on the Flathead National Forest 15 miles west of Olney, Montana is growing rapidly. It jumped 176 acres in 24 hours, with active torching and spotting this morning. Railroad infrastructure is being threatened, along with evacuations and road closures in the Flathead Valley area. The Upper Smith Fire in Idaho's Panhandle, 6 miles west of Port Hill, near the Canadian border, 2,300 acres and already $20.3 million spent, one of the costliest in Idaho. New fire activity is also ramping up in the northern Rockies. 6 new fires were reported just yesterday, including the Griffin Fire near Ashland, Montana, which is the newest large fire in that area. This morning, cooler than average temperatures for the northern Rockies offer some slight relief in fire weather today, but minimum humidity values of 10 to 20% in northern Idaho and Montana still support active fire spread. Now let's talk about the Rocky Mountain Region Preparedness Level 3, centered on Colorado and Wyoming. 6 large fires remain uncontained, and one of them is the most expensive single wildfire in America right now, the Aspen Acres Fire in Custer County, Colorado, 20 miles southwest of Pueblo on the I-25 Corridor 101, 961 acres, 71% contained. But here's the shocking number, 915 structures lost, $95 million in suppression costs, the highest in the nation, 915 homes and buildings gone in Custer County, Colorado. That is a devastating community impact. Transfer of command back to the local unit is expected tomorrow, signaling progress, but the damage is done. The Rio Blanco fire is burning 10 miles south of Pagosa Springs, Colorado, along the US 160 corridor. Active fire behavior with group torching, short-range spotting, and numerous structures threatened. Evacuations in effect. The Gold Mountain Fire on the Grand Mesa, 2 miles north of Ouray, is at 72% contained now, $55.4 million spent there, the second most expensive fire in Colorado right now. The Rocky Mountain region is seeing 8 new fires reported just yesterday alone in Colorado and Wyoming. Fire weather for the Rockies, temperatures near normal, minimal humidity, isolated thunderstorm threat this week. And that thunderstorm threat is important. Isolated mixed wet and dry thunderstorms are possible over the Rockies. Dry lightning, that's lightning without accompanying rainfall, can spark new ignitions in already dry fuel beds. So even as we hope for rain relief, the Rockies may see new fire starts from storms later this week. Now heading east to Minnesota, and yes, the wildfire crisis has reached the upper Midwest as well. 5 simultaneous wildfires are burning on the Superior National Forest, all within the Boundary Waters area. The Thumb Wolf Pack, a Sioux Bear Trap, and campfires are being managed by a single Type 1 team. The Bear Trap fire is the largest at 778 acres, 40% contained, $19.2 million spent on Bear Trap alone, with evacuations in effect near Ely, Minnesota. The Wolf Pack and Sioux fires both have evacuations. Communication infrastructure is a key concern in that region. Eastern area fire weather is actually cooler than average, but the forest fuels are critically dry after droughts. Moderate fire behavior continues across all 5 Minnesota fires, with flanking, backing, and isolated torching reported. Now let's take a quick look at California because fire season is fully underway there as well. 21 new fires were reported in Southern California just yesterday, the most new fires of any region yesterday. The brand new Gann Fire is burning 6 miles southeast of Valley Springs in Tuolumne, Calaveras County today. Active fire behavior with uphill runs, running, and long-range spotting, evacuations and road closures in effect. The Rock Fire in San Bernardino County near Independence, 12,000 acres at 98% contained. The Cinder Fire also in San Bernardino County, 27 acres, nearly fully contained today. California fire weather, extreme heat persisting across the interior valleys and inland empire through the week. Minimum relative humidity of 3 to 15% is forecast. Those are Santa Ana wind level fire weather conditions, 100 degrees plus, remains the forecast for the Central Valley, Desert Southwest, and inland Southern California. The Shoot Fire in Nevada, Yuba Placer County, Northern California, 162 acres, 95% contained, but $20.7 million already spent there. A staggering cost for a relatively small footprint. Now let's step back and look at the aerial support picture because it gives context to the scale of this response for. MAFS C-130 air tankers are currently deployed. That's modular airborne firefighting systems on military aircraft. 2 C-130s from the 302nd Airlift Wing out of Colorado are based at Klamath Falls, Oregon right now. One from the Wyoming Air National Guard and one from the California Air National Guard are at Redding, California. These military aircraft are being integrated into wildfire operations, a clear sign of how serious this situation is. And let's revisit the international support because this is genuinely historic and deserves a moment. A 115-member incident management team from Australia and New Zealand is assigned to large fires in the Northwest, plus 59 additional fire line management personnel from those countries working alongside American crews today. The United States has international resource sharing arrangements with Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and South Africa, but activating that agreement at this scale in August during peak fire season reflects extraordinary demand. Now let's look at the extended forecast picture because the weather pattern is not about to cooperate for the Pacific Northwest. Hot, dry, unstable conditions are expanding into the western portions of the region. The thermal trough strengthening over southwest Oregon creates a high-risk fire weather corridor through the Cascades. That corridor runs from the Rogue River Valley north all the way to the Columbia River Gorge area. If you're near that corridor, Medford, Roseburg, Eugene, the Dalles monitor NWS fire weather watches closely. For the Great Basin extending into the Four Corners, lingering breeziness plus extreme heat is the story. Minimum humidity 3 to 15% persists through today and potentially into the next 24 to 48 hours. For the Rockies and Plains, cooler than average temperatures in the northern and central plains offer slight relief, but isolated wet and dry thunderstorms are possible from the Rockies into the northern plains this week. A stronger signal for wet thunderstorms exists in southeastern Arizona and southwestern New Mexico. That's helpful. The rest of the Southwest will see below average storm coverage, meaning no widespread rainfall relief expected. For the east, the showers and thunderstorms will continue in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. Wet pattern there, but that moisture is locked east of the Mississippi and is doing nothing to help the burning west right now. Here's the bottom line on the forecast. There is no significant relief on the horizon for fire country. The heat dome pattern that has been baking the interior west shows no signs of breaking in the near term. Every day of continued heat and low humidity is another day of potential extreme fire behavior and growth. And with fuels critically dry from a dry winter and spring, the fire environment is about as bad as it gets. Let me give you the key action items if you live in any of these fire-affected regions right now. Know your evacuation zone. Look it up today before you need it because you may have very little warning. Sign up for emergency alerts from your county. Every county in the West has a system. Use it now. If you have a go bag, make sure it's packed in accessible documents, medications, water, phone charger ready to go. If you are under an evacuation order, leave immediately. Firefighters cannot protect you if you stay behind. For air quality, smoke is impacting communities far from the actual fires across the entire western United States. Check airnow.gov for real-time air quality index values in your area before going outside today. Sensitive groups, kids, the elderly, anyone with asthma or heart conditions should limit outdoor exposure now. And for travelers, check 511 systems in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado before driving. Road closures from wildfires can change rapidly. What was open this morning may be closed by this afternoon. Major routes to watch include US 97 through Central Oregon and Washington, US 2 and many Forest Service roads. Interstate 5 through Southern Oregon and Northern California has multiple fires burning in close proximity today. Now let's look at a few specific fires where containment progress is giving us some encouraging news today. The Hat Fire in the Vail BLM District, 44,000 hollowed acres, is at 99% contained now. The Hay Creek Complex in Prineville, Oregon, 200,000 acres, is at 97% contained. The Anthony Fire in the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest is at 89%, transferring back to local management today. Jackass Butte Fire in the Burns BLM District, 78% contained, also transferring to local control today. Progress is happening, but it is painfully slow, given the scale of what is still burning out of control. Let me put the total cost of this fire season in perspective before we wrap up today's broadcast. Just from the fires listed in today's situation report, hundreds of millions of dollars in suppression costs alone. The Aspen Acres Fire in Colorado, $95 million. Rogue Creek Complex in Oregon, $49 million. The Salmon Fire in Oregon, $36.8 million. The E. Evans Creek Road Fire, $64.4 million. These are suppression costs alone, not counting the economic damage to communities, homes, and infrastructure lost. And we are at 138% of the 10-year average, with over 2 months of fire season remaining. This is shaping up to be one of the most significant wildfire seasons in modern American history, and it is not over. This is a developing situation across multiple regions, and I will be updating you daily as conditions evolve. If you're in one of these areas, please take fire preparedness seriously. This is not a drill out there. If this video was helpful, please like it and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss updates. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, folks, and please take care of each other.